Chapter 5, Can Money Buy Respect? A middle-aged man sat on a lounge chair with a somber expression. He held his head as if something inside was filled with trouble. How is it not? The document he is holding contains about low traffic from the hospital he manages. Every day, the number of visitors to his hospital decreased significantly, bringing it up to a point of 30% from the previous year. This naturally frustrated him, considering the many other top hospitals competing in the affluent Fresno City. Is this the end of career and time to enjoy old age? Who knows? To calm his mind, he poured a glass of hot tea into his small cup and took a small sip. Receiving that, he felt a little relaxed, as if the weight of his life was being pulled slightly from his body. However, just a few seconds later, a loud knock sounded from the door that startled him, even nearly passed out. "Who disturbed my rest?" asked the middle-aged man in a loud tone towards the source of the voice. "I am your assistant, sir, Chloe." "What made you disturb my rest?" "Here is an important matter, sir." Hearing that, the middle-aged man roared angrily. "Important matter? My life is far more important than that matter. I will listen to that matter after finishing my rest." "You may leave now," said the middle-aged man lazily. Meanwhile, realizing that it was difficult to cope with the old man she had served for more than 2 years, Chloe immediately brought up the matter, to the point. "Someone just booked a VVVIP room, sir, and asked to be moved right after the surgery was done." "Don't make me repeat my words. You can go." "Eh? What did you say? VVVIP? "That's right, Mr. Bill Wilson, VVVIP. In fact, the customer gave a tip of $200,000 to the receptionist in charge of serving him." "VVVIP? A tip of $200,000? Bill had long yearned for a generous customer. When else would he get the chance to increase his hospital connections in Fresno City? This is a big catch." He felt there was no need to delay any longer. Bill then got up from his seat, opened the door, and said to Chloe, "Move the patient to the VVVIP room as soon as the surgery is done. We have to give them the best. Make sure not to make any mistakes during the treatment period. I will meet them in person later." Bill's face looked lively and bright, as if he had returned to the state he in years ago. Chloe then nodded and left Bill alone in his room. It's time to get down to business. News about a patient named Josie Velasco occupying the VVVIP room immediately spread like wildfire in St. Susanna Hospital. The room had been empty for a long time, considering how high the price for one service was. In fact, some of the nurses who had been on the job for nearly a year had never seen any patient enter the room. However, today one of the rooms of the VVVIP class is open for a patient. In fact, the news about Liam, the relative behind the patient, who gave a receptionist a tip of $200,000, also became a hot news that spread along with it. At this time, Carlos was waiting anxiously outside the operating room door. By now, the operation had lasted 2 hours, and Carlos had yet to get any information about his mother's condition other than just a long silences. Within that room, there were 10 well-known medical specialists in Fresno City who had been specially summoned to treat his mother. However, even so, Carlos still couldn't hide his worried expression. It was said before that his mother's condition was in the final stages, as if she might die at any moment. Even if they are experts, they are not gods, right? After Carlos waited another 4 hours, the operating room door opened for the first time in 6 hours. From behind the door, there were already 10 doctors coming at him with bright lights on their faces. "Congratulations, Mr. Carlos, Mrs. Josie Velasco's operation went smoothly and successfully. However, it will take about another month for Mrs. Josie to fully recover while removing his face mask." Hearing that, Carlos showed a happy expression and took the doctor's hand for a handshake. They expressed deep gratitude. "You are too kind, Mrs. Carlos, this is our job." Carlos talked about another important thing about his mother's condition with them. Then, a middle-aged man who looked neat and dignified appeared among them while greeting Carlos. "Are you Mr. Carlos? Nice to meet you. The middle-aged man is Bill Wilson." He smiled as he held out his hand. Carlos then returned his hand as he replied, "That's right, sir, I am Carlos." At this point, Bill observed Carlos closely. His appearance was grungy and disorganized. Several bruises were also visible on his face, as if he had just been beaten up. Also, he was stiff and nervous, not showing the slightest bit of dignified and superior side to him. However, Bill didn't mind that. As long as someone has money, they must be respected. He must be the son of someone super rich who doesn't have time to tutor their son. "What do you think of the service at our hospital, Mr. Carlos?" asked Bill, who still maintained a smile on his face. Seeing him, Carlos realized that this rich old man was very polite with him. Is he trying to lick me? Is it because I spent a lot of money to receive services from the hospital? Is this the so-called power of money? Damn it. Too many questions. In the end, the takeaway from all of Carlos' questions was, money is everything. Some people say that money can't buy real happiness. Carlos won his honor. He is no longer humiliated. He can cure his mother's illness, he can even pay for his younger sister's entire study outside the city. Then, what if this is not called happiness? Do you think there is more happiness than this?